Mr. Speaker, the crucial mistake the Thai opposition make in this debate is that they underestimate just how awesome these machinery is. Just last year, a Google computer defeated the world champion in Go, a game more complex than chess, by order of magnitude of the amount of stars in the known universe. Something that a month prior was estimated to take 7 years more. This is because when we have computers which have a lot of data, and we feed them more and more data, we can see it can get to results and patterns that humans cannot possibly get to, even giving the best amount of expertise. Now, this is one big mistake. Now, another thing is the thing before I begin onto my passage, which will firstly be so like, where do we have better justice? So also in that, how do we define justice? Because that's apparently the debate. And secondly, obviously on where we get more objective justice, where we get more objective sentencing. All right. So before I rebuttal, an important thing. Note that the info slide told us that the algorithm will choose between the minimum and maximum boundaries of sentencing phases. Now, it's important to note that these minimum and maximum bounds already keep into account how much we think that we should punish someone for this thing. So what I'm saying is that retribution is already factored into the sentence. When we decide on where on that spectrum we stand, on whether it's on the low end or the high end, this is something that we decide by looking at deterrence, by rehabilitation, and by quarantine. I'll get into my first point on why Talia showed you very effectively on why this should mostly be done on what keeps society safe, and why it's something that is better done by our side of the house. Before that, a few points of extraneous rebuttal. So one thing that people haven't seen throughout that if they think that mistakes are likely to happen, we say that appeals are still possible under our system, right? And that as Tal said in our mechanism, in response to POI, is that we are okay with society being able to influence what weighs heavier and less heavy. So if they think that the clerks inputting the amount of regret or remorse or intent is something that was wrong, this is something we can still look into on a case-by-case basis. So then the previous speaker says, closure is fine, closure is enough. Now, note that no one of the three speakers of the opposition has disputed what's been said throughout the government, that judges have biases, right? That judges have inherent biases to race, to an ideology that they believe that the intended injustice should go by, and by any kind of factors, and as such, something that is arbitrary. So we don't know why consulting something that's better if in the end we have an arbitrary arbiter decide on what happens here. Now, so that's the last point that came out of the previous speaker. Look, I think it's probably fair for us to say we won't switch overnight into this into the system. That we can give this system a bit of learning, so a bit of learning time to try and factor in this what the deterrence is that we get from this particular model of the house. Even if you don't think that's something that's fair, it's something that's still a lot less arbitrary, a lot more objective, and we should absolutely be doing that. Okay, so let's talk about justice for America and how we define justice. So the previous speaker said it should mostly be about the victim. But note that when he is very strongly advocating for deterrence, and he is saying that making justice for society is something that's a valid way for us to ascertain how much we should sentence on. Again, we are not saying on guilt or innocence here, or that they should be at somewhere in that spectrum, but that if you want to deter, then saying that we don't want future crimes to happen is something that they can see as a legitimate way or a reason for us to jail someone longer. Now, in our societies, we like to maximize freedoms for people. We don't like taking them away. When we curtail someone's freedoms, first of all, obviously, when it harms someone else in their exercise of freedom, but also and moreover, when it's something that harms societies, so that harms the society's ability to create those freedoms and to safeguard these freedoms. This is why we say that someone who is a danger to society is someone that should be kept away. Now, so if we agree, as all the opposition does, that good for society is a good thing, in order to be determined, should someone go more or less in jail, then Talia shows you there's an extreme mismatch today in where it is that in who it is that we are locking up and not, and that. So then when the opposition says says as well that there's some people who are less likely to are still going for more. We say it's something that happens all the time, and we all the time make these kind of decisions. But so let's say opening up Leighton's big case here is saying, well, what about the wife murderer, right? Someone who's not likely to commit any more crimes, and the system will miss that. There are three answers to that. First of all, Tal's mechanism says yes, you can, but have this kind of intent put in. Secondly, also Tal, in a response to a POI from closing up position, I'm talking about the clerks, the clerks who are inputting numbers also says that you can. Let's say you don't buy any of them, okay? But then we say, let's say that we can't see them. What kind of system can they see? That this person has no priors, no previous assault, no previous violent crime, and so this is a person who is less likely to recidivize, so will get less of a separate sentence.
Comparative is not between status quo and your suggestion, but rather a world where the algorithm exists but doesn't get final say. Within that comparison, black men and poor people are systematically more recidivistic. When they're systematically locked up for longer, these groups, as a whole, get disenfranchised and commit more crimes. Should you take into account the society as a whole and not just within the algorithm, the individual?
Okay, so this brings me very neatly to my second point. Because what this question, and the entirety of their case of there being more justice overall hinges on, is so that it will be more just. Now, it is impossible for them to say that the system will be more just when they do not defeat the issue of arbitrariness that have come up throughout the government bench. Yes, even though you can now, as Eitan just pointed out, have it shown up on a board, then it's still, as Talia points out, predominantly white judges. So you're still who are predominantly biased against minority people who are predominantly tough on crime. This is politically appealing thing to do. So it seems Talia shows you that no judge is possibly capable of actually doing this, and that a computer can pick up on vastly more patterns that will keep the right people in jail for the right amount of time, and that will also obviously keep in mind the school of crime thing, because this has been happening for many, many years. We want to make sentencing better. We want to make more justice in our society. Please propose.